Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 56, and welcome to the first full-length episode of this week. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday we did the first mini-episode of 2015, and I personally really enjoyed recording it, actually. I had a lot of fun, did a bunch of stuff, we worked on a ton of projects. You can see that the roof is done, we have got the walkway. In fact, this entire room is now all completed, which is pretty good. But yeah, I had a lot of fun recording that video. I have to say, I'm actually recording this right now on the Thursday, so that episode hasn't released just yet, and I'm really excited to see all of your responses, see how you feel about all of the mini episodes and everything like that, because as I say, I actually really enjoy doing them, and over the next couple of weeks you might see a few of them dotted around, simply because, of course, as I've explained multiple times now, it is exam season. Now, I'm sure actually a lot of the comments on the previous episode of Hermitcraft, which, as I say, hasn't actually come out yet for me, are about how my exam went. Yeah, it actually went really well. As I mentioned many times now, these exams, they're not really a big deal for me, as I've already got a place at university, don't have to worry about this sort of stuff. And as far as my priorities are concerned, accounting is probably at the lowest level of my priorities in terms of exams, so it's pretty down there. But I actually think it went really quite well, considering I haven't really done too much preparation for it. It was alright. It wasn't actually too bad. I've got another accounting exam tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm actually quietly confident about that, which is pretty positive. I'm feeling pretty good about the whole accounting situation. So anyway, I'm going to move off the topic of exams, because I'm sure most of you are going through them right now, and you're probably watching this video to get away from them, and you don't really want to be reminded of that sort of thing. So yeah, we're going to be moving away from that, because I've got two things that I just really quickly want to mention. The first one is, and I mentioned this in the previous episode, but it is the fact that I have now got myself an official Mumbo Jumbo Facebook page. Finally, after many years, got myself a Facebook page. So if you have Facebook and you didn't fancy following me on Twitter because you don't have a Twitter account but you do have Facebook, then head over there. That is where you can get updates. You'll get a pretty decent feed of my videos, of course, when they release and everything like that. They'll be posted on Facebook as well. So yes, that is the place to go, and a link to that can be found down in the description. The next thing that I quickly want to mention is the fact that we just hit 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's crazy. It seriously is very crazy. In fact, you know what? Gonna do a bit of dancing, swing my chicken around a little bit, because that is a huge quantity of people. And you know what? I fancy hopping into the crazy, trippy, blocky world that we created, and we'll take a look at what 600,000 actually looks like. Oh, this is taking a very long time to do. So after a little bit of MC edit action, as you saw just there, I have added 100,000 extra blocks to our 500,000 block square. Now this thing is just absolutely insane. Once again, I do just want to say I apologize to those of you who are watching this video at a slightly lower quality, because I know it just looks like a mess on your screens, but this should give you a rough idea of the quantity, the sheer mass of people that 600,000 really is. I mean, it's outside of my view distance. You can see I'm flying along like this. We're not reaching the end at all. It's just obscene. It's obscene, and that's all I can really say about it. I mean, it's so ridiculous that when you spin around, you get a crazy effect on the screen. I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but it looks like a bunch of smaller circles spinning around. For those of you who understand maths and things like that, please let me know why that happens, because it looks really cool. But there we go. There is one edge of the square. We finally reached the edge. Yeah, this seriously is extremely impressive. But anyway, back down to Hermitcraft now. We have got a bunch of things I want to work on in today's episode, and we should really stop messing about with crazy block worlds and all that sort of thing, because we've got a few projects to do. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be doing in today's episode is we are going to be creating a door that travels between these two rooms. Now, I was originally going to be making a redstone door, but that looks quite cool, just having that as an archway. I'm almost tempted to just have the archway there, because being able to see the sheep farm and everything like that actually looks quite nice. What I was going to originally do was create a 2x1 hipster door in this section, which would have involved taking out this hidden crafting bench and replacing it with a bunch of redstoney bits. But you know what? Because that archway looks so good, I think I'm actually going to keep it. So we're not going to be doing a redstone door here after all. We're going to be keeping the archway. I've just got to replace a few of the blocks, and then it should end up looking pretty decent. And there we go. The archway is done. It took around about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. Just had to hop up to the chest, grab myself some sandstone slabs, and that was pretty much the entire project done. So that's nice and simple, a lot simpler than the 2x1 hipster door would have been. And I'll be honest with you, I actually think it looks better than the 2x1 hipster door would have done. If we had the door in place, then you wouldn't have been able to see any of this stuff. And I personally think that this view is actually really very nice. So I'm glad that that's worked out so simply. And we are going to be leaving this area behind entirely. I'm starting to think that we are gradually reaching completion with these 2 rooms. It's been about, I don't know, 6, maybe 7 episodes of projects just working around this sort of area. And I'm starting to think that this sort of section of the base is gradually, very gradually reaching completion, which is a pretty good feeling. You know what I'm like, when I start a project, I feel the need to complete it, which is, well, it's a little bit weird that I've said that, considering we're just walking past this empty storage area that I currently have here. Yes, I know, I still have to do the sorting system, but I've decided to put that off a little bit while I have exams. I think that's sensible, simply because the sorting system, that's a pretty big deal. So we're going to be leaving this area now, and we are going to be heading up to the top section of the base, because we are going to be revisiting an area. We are going to be going back to an area that I haven't worked on for quite some time now, and that is the tree farm, which is over there. Basically, the tree farm, for some reason, has been annoying me a little bit, simply because this tree farm, it looks very different to the rest of the base. Now, that is cool. I'm really glad about that. It looks lovely. I love this room. It's one of my favorite rooms of the base, but it's quite an abrupt change between this, which is very cold and sort of corporate looking, I guess, and this, which is nice, warm, and homely. So what I thought we'd do is I thought we'd construct a 3x3 piston door to sort of cut this off from the rest of the base, and also we're going to be expanding this area and adding some living quarters, which should be fairly nice because I haven't got any of those yet. Okay, progress update time. I have managed to do all of the tricky stuff. The hard part has been completed, managing to get these 2 blocks to extend. That's the difficult part, because of course you have the double extender, you have the block storage, all that good stuff, and it involves some pretty cool and very compact redstone circuitry. This is still one of my favorite redstone builds. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I will put a link to the tutorial down in the description, but I will warn you, the video's getting on about 2 years old now, so I sound just a little bit strange, okay? I know I'm a pretty enthusiastic person, but back in those days, I was very, very enthusiastic. But anyway, let's just take a look at it. As you can see, flick this lever and we get the full block retraction. This is actually the 2x1 hipster door I was planning on building earlier on. So this is the sort of design that I was going to be going for, but there we go. That is how it works, and now we just have to do these blocks retracting, and it should be pretty simple. The final piece of decoration just needs to go in here, bonk, bonk, and that is it. This is the 3x3 door. It is in. I've had to do some slightly strange redstone. We've had to deviate from the design a little bit because here's the thing, okay? I'm going to try my best to explain this. Basically, the way that I've laid it out is all of the circuitry goes out in this direction underneath, but then because of the way that this wall is, we've had to make it so that all of the redstone circuitry goes out the back around like this, so that it doesn't interact with this wall, because of course that means that, well, we'd have redstone exposed through the wall. That wouldn't be particularly good. So yeah, we've had to do some fiddly bits around here, but I've managed to make it work. So here we go. Flick the lever. We get ourselves a very fast closing, and we flick the lever once again. We get ourselves a nice and quick opening. So we've got ourselves a doorway that goes through into the tree farm. It's looking good. I mean, what else can I say? It's a little iron block of 3x3. Then when we flick the lever, it all opens up so we can drop into here. So that is pretty cool. But one thing that I have just thought is that when this door is open, I mean closed, from the inside here you'll be able to see all of these piston arms. But that's not too much of an issue because right now we only have an outside switch, and I'm probably going to keep it that way just for the minute, I think. I can't imagine I'm really going to be closing the door from the inside every time I head in, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But anyway, moving on from the 3x3 door project, because that is now done, we have got to start work on the living quarters. This is where I'm going to be spending my quality time, my pleasure time, when I'm away from the farms and doing all the work in. This is where I want to chill out, you know, have my fun bits and pieces. So it should be pretty cool to work on this project. It's going to be slightly less serious than some of the recent ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on this little corridor section here. I don't know how I'm going to do it specifically, so this is going to be playing it by ear a little bit, but hopefully we can come up with something pretty interesting. So, I've done a tiny bit of clearing, and I've also created the walkway. Wow, that was a big lag spike. I'm not used to those. My new graphics card usually champs it, so might be something going wrong there. Fingers crossed, don't have any strange computer problems once again. But anyway, this is the little area that we have. And while I have been clearing this out, because we don't actually have efficiency 5 anymore, so it isn't insta-mine, so this actually took a little bit longer than it usually does. I've actually had time to think about a few of the things I want to do, and one of them is to create an enchanting room. You see, we don't actually have like an enchanting area in this base whatsoever. I don't have an enchanting table. There is nowhere that I can actually enchant items, and I think we should change that in today's episode. In fact, I'm going to prioritize that over creating a living and sleeping area for the second. But basically, I'm going to be building things off the edge of this corridor in this direction, and I'm going to do it in a fairly cool way. It's going to be using like units. You'll probably understand in a couple of seconds once I start constructing it. But first off, we've actually got to put the decoration into the walkway, and I think I'm going to do something similar to what we have in here because I really, really like this place. So some decorating has been done, as I say, sort of sticking to the room that we have back here, and it is looking sweet. It is looking sweet, but you may notice it's not complete, and the reason that it's not is because I'm so excited for this project. I just want to get going, and I don't want to do any more decorating whatsoever because I've got my redstone hat and boots on, and I think this is going to look really awesome, okay? I've had a few ideas popping into my mind. This is basically a combination of maybe, you know, 2 or 3 builds? Yeah, I'd say 2 or 3 of my recent builds, and I thought I would take you through some of the early sections on camera. So the 3 builds that this mostly consists of is, first off, we have got my recent video about the torch activated hidden enchanting system type thing. The reason that I'm mentioning that is simply because A, it's really recent, it only came out a couple days ago, but more importantly, it reminded me that these pop-up enchanting systems are seriously cool. They're one of my favourite redstone devices. I don't know what it is about it. It's such a cool idea for a contraption. So, yep, there's that. Also, it's sort of a combination of my room switcher. Now, the room switcher video is one that went pretty big on my channel, I think. I seem to remember it's got a large number of views. I always thought it would, simply because it's an awesome redstone contraption. It's basically an entire room that switches round. All the cave switches out into a room, and it looks really very impressive. So it's a combination of that and my enchanting system and my curtain drawing machine that I did for the redstone advent calendar, which seems ages ago, but it also seems very recent because I've just looked at the calendar and we are now 5 months into the year. 5 months! I still write 2014 on things. I mean, heck, the other day I wrote 2012. That's like 3 years ago. It's scary how fast the time is passing. I mean, my YouTube channel, for example, is over 3 years old now. I've been making Minecraft videos for over 3 years. Good lord. I honestly don't know what to say to that. I seriously don't, because, you know, it feels like time is just absolutely flying past, and I've heard that only gets worse with age, okay? When you're younger, a year feels like a lifetime, okay? I remember waiting for Christmas, and it just seemed to take just forever. But nowadays, years are flying by. I can click my fingers. 3 years has passed. It's crazy. So, yeah, I'm a little bit worried about time flying past. Any adults that are watching this, does it get worse with age? Do I start having to, you know, just speed things up a little bit, start focusing on making the most of my time? Because I feel like I'm aging far too fast. I don't know about you guys. But anyway, I'm gonna stop that rant there because we have done a little bit of redstone here. You may be wondering what I've been doing, and that is because I'm actually creating the double piston extenders for our room switcher device that I am currently creating. Basically, all of these would be flush with the floor. They're going to push new blocks upwards, and they're going to switch all of it out, and that's going to look pretty good. So what we need is a rising edge monostable circuit there, and then the downward ones are going to have a falling edge monostable circuit so that they do it on either side of the toggle. So let's just take a look. If I grab myself... Oh, we're going to have to make ourselves a lever here real quick. Just some on-the-fly crafting with a full inventory is always a mess. It really is always a mess when you're doing this. Right, we've got ourselves 4 levers. That's more than I really needed, but oh well. Right, okay, so what I'll do is I'll chuck a block on top of one of these sets of pistons, and hopefully it should double extend. And we're testing for the fact that A, all of these should double extend, but B, it should reach at this side, because that was quite a lot of redstone going around. So here we go. Right. That is good, but it needs a slightly longer pulse. So let's just try that out again. This is going to be our test piston. So that there and that there. Right, and... Awesome! Excellent. Right, okay, so that is one set of pistons. Now we just need to do the ones on the top. Alright, so I have now added in the upper section. I did all of that off camera because I rambled on just a little bit there. So all of the upstairs redstone is done, the downstairs redstone is done, and I've got a bit of a demonstration for you. Yes, it's looking very rough and ready right now, but let's just give it a bash. Just flick this lever down here, and you will see that these blocks pop up. So these are going to be our bookshelves, and we will have bookshelves going right the way around like this, right the way around here, and then of course our enchanting table is going to be on this block right about here. But that isn't all I want to do, you see, because of course enchanting now uses lapis. What I thought we could do is I thought we could have like a triple dropper system. So if we just take out this block, I didn't actually bring any droppers with me, but we will have a dropper facing downwards right here, and it will go off 3 times. So it will chuck 3 bits of lapis down on us so that we can pick all of those up, use those for the enchanting, and then when we flick the lever once again, perhaps all of the books get pushed upwards and the whole thing shuts off. That's sort of the idea, and I think, fingers crossed, it should end up working really very nicely. I mean, this is looking promising already, so I'm just going to do some decorating and some more playing around with the redstone, and we'll see what I can come up with. So here comes the moment of truth. It's still looking very rough, but I played around with the redstone a little bit more, and in theory, it should now be working, okay? So when I stand on this pressure plate, we should get ourselves all of these pistons pushing upwards, and we got ourselves 3 bits of cobblestone. Excellent. So that means that 3 bits of lapis will drop down from the ceiling, and they will go into our inventory so that we can do some enchanting. Let's do that again. So the bookshelves pop up, and then the lapis. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, that is a cool redstone contraption, but now we have got to do the decorating because this thing is looking ugly bugly. I had the perfect amount of sugarcane at my base to make the correct number of books, and I turned it into sugar. Why did I do that? Now I've got to go all the way back. Oh, I've got to go to Hermit Hills. That's so frustrating. Come here, you. I don't want you getting near my storage area, or my chickens, for that matter. As much as they're annoying, I don't want you killing them. So finally, after plenty of resource gathering, I had to go down and get some obsidian as well. We have all of the parts for this build, so let's do it. The bookshelves need to go in like this. Hopefully, I have got enough. I really sincerely hope that I do. Right, that is that. We'll fill in the rest of the floor as well. We'll replace our little pseudo enchanting table with a real enchanting table, so that can go in just like that. And then as far as the walls are concerned, in general, for example, when these bookshelves aren't popped up, I was thinking that we could go for some of this stuff. I always forget the name of it. You guys know that I always forget the name of it. We aren't actually going to be using that block type for the roof because that doesn't look very good. So I'll quickly remove that, and I think I'll use stone slabs for all of this. But yeah, I was thinking this block type just to make it as boring as possible, so when it changes, it's genuinely exciting. It's like, oh, thank God, that horrible wall is gone. That's my mentality on the whole matter. But anyway, we need our stone slabs. We'll place those around our dropper here, and then it will all be completed. It's looking a little bit dark, so we might need to light this place up just a tiny bit, because otherwise might end up getting some mobs spawning in here. But here goes. There's just a few things left to do. We need to chuck the lapis into the dropper. There's just loads of stuff that I keep forgetting. Right, there we go. That is everything done. We definitely need some light, but here goes. Stand on the pressure plate, and bookshelves and lapis. Oh, I enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that. I don't actually have anything to enchant with me, but that is perfect. What a cool little room. And then it should all fold away. Yes, there it is. Excellent. Now what I'm thinking of doing is I will take out these blocks here and we'll put some glowstone in those sections. That should actually end up looking really very good, and we'll finish off the rest of the room. But I'm super impressed with this. Oh, I love this build. So there we have it, ladies and gents. That is the mini enchanting room done. Look, bookshelves and also 3 bits of lapis. That's perfect. I'll chuck those back in there because we're not going to be using them. So that is working like a charm. Now, of course, we're going to be extending this corridor off in future episodes. I want to do some more expansion from this area because, as I say, this is like the home environment. This is where I'm going to be spending my home time, my relaxing time, and this is where I'm going to be spending my sleepy time, so it has to be looking good. And of course I will be adding some extra bits for this, but sadly, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I've got another accounting exam tomorrow. That is on Friday. It's at Friday at 1:30 PM it starts, and it finishes at 3:30, I believe. How rubbish is that? When you guys are all out having fun, I'm going to be having an exam. Not particularly interesting, is it? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.